Xi Jinping seems like an all-powerful dictator, but his grip on power has never been weaker. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. Erasing hard drives shouldn't be difficult, neither should pricing, licensing, and use. Securely and easily erase all kinds of drives with PC Doctor Drive Erase, all starting at under $60. I'll tell you more at the end. So Xi Jinping is one of the most powerful Chinese leaders in recent history. Under his regime, China's military has rapidly grown and modernized. And for a time, China's economy seemed poised to become the biggest in the world. In 2021, Xi Jinping predicted the East is rising, the West is declining, receding, like Hulk Hogan's hairline. In many ways, China seemed successful. So successful that even today, the biggest and most influential American newspapers, like the Wall Street Journal, still repeat Chinese propaganda that they suppressed COVID and had record growth. No, they lied about the COVID death toll. Millions could be dead. And China's GDP numbers are made up according to top communist officials. Yes, China was able to buy a lot of influence in the world. So much so that even during the height of China's disaster zero COVID policy, BlackRock was still telling investors to triple their investments in China. Even as the US federal government under Trump and Biden have hardened their views on China, China was buying influence in local US politics. Why was California Governor Gavin Newsom allowed to meet with Xi Jinping when Biden wasn't? According to the Rhodium Group, California is by far the #1 recipient of Chinese foreign direct investment among US states. All this is to say that China's economy was one of Xi Jinping's most powerful weapons. But now that weapon is being turned against him. I'll tell you more after the break. Welcome back. For any Chinese communist leader, the economy is the foundation of their power. The Communist Party made a Faustian bargain with the Chinese people after the Tiananmen Square massacre, that if they obeyed the party without question, they'd have a chance to make money. The Communist Party has broken that promise. In just the 2 years since Xi made that statement about the West being in decline, it's become clear that it's China that's failing. China's economy is spiraling out of control thanks to communist policy, and the foundation of Xi's power is crumbling. Beijing will never be able to make a credible claim to global economic primacy. The current problems really began during the global financial crisis. China avoided a major financial catastrophe thanks to the Communist Party pumping money into infrastructure, housing, and technology. While the rest of the world was struggling, China seemed to be doing great. But the seeds of its own destruction had already been sown. Local governments and real estate developers went deep in debt to fund the rapid growth. And it was only growth on paper. Yes, they built housing. But according to a former top official, while there's 1.4 billion people in China, there could be enough vacant homes in China to house up to 3 billion people. Massive infrastructure projects were funded that made no practical sense, like this massive bridge in the relatively poor Guizhou province. The province has no actual use for something like that, not to mention the made in China quality. I'm sure you've heard someone making the comparison between China's incredible high-speed trains compared to America's ancient rails. Well, besides that, again, made in China quality. But high-speed railway track is growing more than twice as quickly as passengers. All that rapid growth led to massive debt. Some estimate that local governments in China are now sitting on $23 trillion of debt, and they can't pay it back. The obvious solution would be for China to switch to a consumer economy. Consumers account for 37% of China's GDP, compared to 68% of America's. But there are two problems with that. One, Chinese communist authorities are ideologically opposed to boosting consumption. And two, China is running out of people. The US population is rebounding, but China's is plummeting. Communism has also demolished China's private sector, the one thing that might have saved the Chinese economy. While Xi Jinping was talking about the West's decline, he was also unleashing a massive crackdown on China's tech sector to solidify the Communist Party's power over it. That wiped out over $1 trillion of wealth. According to Barry Naughton, an expert on Chinese industrial policy at the University of California, San Diego, Xi sent a much broader message that all kinds of independent, high-skilled service jobs didn't have a future. He was signaling, "I don't like private business, and I don't care if I destroy value." That's a big reason why foreign investment in China went negative for the first time in decades. According to a recent IMF study, we see a huge hit to China's GDP in the coming years. The picture that is coming into view is that Xi's prediction about the East and the West was totally backwards. As China is declining, things are actually getting better for the US. The US just had its strongest quarter in nearly 2 years. Inflation is going down. Not enough to make gas and food affordable, but it is reversing a bit. And that foreign investment that was going to China is coming to the US. China received 60% less foreign direct investment in strategic sectors in 2022 than in 2015, while the US enjoyed 43% more. And the US's relative GDP has recently been boosted by its higher inflation and China's weaker currency. We get stronger as they get weaker. And that really isn't surprising. Globalization was a huge boon to China. It siphoned off American jobs and sent them to China. But the era of globalization is ending. And while America can be self-sufficient, China can't. It doesn't have enough energy resources, and it can't grow enough food to support the population. So whereas China's rapidly growing economy was Xi Jinping's greatest strength, China's failing economy has become his greatest weakness. And America doesn't seem to be receding. So why do we love watching all this go down? Well, there's a video I want to show you about that. But first, this episode is sponsored by PC Doctor Drive Erase. There's a lot of reasons you might want to erase a hard drive: when you recycle an old computer or before you send it in for repair. Erasing drives should be easy. That's why PC Doctor Service Center Drive Erase provides an easy, guided path to erasing hard drives properly. It automatically removes a freeze lock and erases hidden HPA and DCO sectors, and it uses the most secure erasure method available for the drive. After it's done, it verifies that everything got erased properly and gives you a PDF certificate that also is stored on the drive. Drive Erase supports MMC partition regions, NVMe namespaces, and multiple drives in parallel, and there's no limit to how many drives it can be used with. So if you're ready for an easy-to-use solution to clean out your hard drives, use PC Doctor Drive Erase. Plus, we have something special for China Uncensored viewers. Get 10% off PC Doctor Drive Erase using coupon DE10OFF. Use the link in the description below to learn more. And why do we love watching this epic battle royale between China and the US? It's because humans have always loved these kinds of bloody gladiatorial death matches. And I have a video I want to show you about that from my new show, Deep Thoughts While Gaming. Check it out. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.